All praise to the Most High HaYah, Baruch Hashem, in the name of his son Yehoshua Ruach Qodesh. Shalom to the elect house of Yisrael, to those that are called to do the work in truth. The topic of race can be a sensitive issue due to the dark and violent past of slavery, discrimination, and demoralization of a people. Most people look to avoid the topic altogether to prevent tensions from arising by simply ignoring the past. Others lash out with hate speech or even violence to express that hate. These behaviors will continue to perpetuate throughout the world due to the fact that the world is afraid of the truth. Truth is the remedy to the healing of a lost people and to a world of lies. John 8:32 tells us, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." The problem is there is no truth in a world of deceit. Those who uphold themselves as the authority of the educational institutions have hidden the true knowledge of the Most High HaYah, Baruch Hashem, his son Yasha, and his chosen people Yisrael. Through their educational institutions, they have deceived the whole world into false traditions, erroneous religious doctrines, and demonization of the lost sheep of the house of Yisrael. Follow me over to Jeremiah chapter 33, and we'll start at verse 24. Consider you not what this people have spoken, saying, and this right here is speaking of the leaders, the elites that are controlling these religious and educational institutions, saying, the two families, and the two families are the southern and northern kingdom, the house of Judah, and also the 10 tribes. So the two families which the Most High have chosen, his people Yisrael, he have even cast them off. And this is what they teach throughout the entire world through these false religious doctrines, that it doesn't matter who you are anymore, and that everyone is equal and as the same, and that the children of Israel are no more. Lies. Thus they have despised my people, that they should be no more a nation before them. And this is what you have today. Due to a lack of knowledge, the lost sheep of Yisrael have become blind to their identity, heritage, and the covenants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, which indeed, without the slightest doubt, according to the word of the Most High, are in fact the so-called Negroes or blacks, Africans, that were scattered on slave ships throughout the earth during the Atlantic African slave trade, and also the indigenous peoples that were conquered and enslaved by the Europeans in the Western world. So what we're going to do is prove all things. So we're going to go over to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28. And if you have never read the book of Deuteronomy, especially chapter 28, I suggest you do so to confirm the curses that would be put on the children of Yisrael for their disobedience, for breaking the law, statutes, and commandments. And these curses are prevalent today. These curses are forever. Okay? So we're going to go down to verse 64. And the Most High shall scatter you among all people. So the children of Israel will be scattered throughout every nation, every country on the earth as slaves. This has only happened to one people. Into every country, all people, from one end of the earth even unto the other. And there, when you get there, you shall serve other mighty ones. You shall serve other religions, the religions of your slave masters. The slaves are not allowed to select which religion they would serve. So you would serve the religion of your slave masters, children of Israel, which neither you nor your fathers have known. And this is why you rarely hear about the Almighty of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or the children of Yisrael in these churches today. So it says, which neither you nor your fathers have known, even wood and stone, the two biggest religions in the world. Wood predominantly represents the Catholic and Christian church, which say the Messiah died on the wood cross, Christianity, and stone, the Kaaba stones, which the Muslims pray to, and Mecca. So it says that you would be enslaved and scattered throughout the whole earth, and you would be a Christian or a Muslim. All right, jump down to verse 68. And the Almighty shall bring you into Egypt again. So this is the second Egypt, not the first Egypt, where we came out with Moses and with the children of Israel. So it says Egypt. The word Egypt in Hebrew means Mitzrayim, which is translated as slavery, house of bondage, or restriction. So it says that the Most High shall bring the children of Israel, Yisrael, into slavery like they were in ancient Egypt again. But this time with ships. This has only happened to one group of people by the millions. By the millions. All right. By the way whereof I spoke unto you, you shall see it no more again. And there, when you get there, remember verse 64, all across the world, scattered among all countries, all nations. And there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. And this has happened to only one group of people, as I spoke earlier. Okay, you cannot find any history, but this has happened to any other nation of people outside of the so-called blacks, or Africans, or Negroes. But these people are not blacks, Africans, and Negroes. They are the lost sheep of the house of Yisrael. So let's prove the indigenous peoples also that they're from the lost sheep of the house of Israel. We're going to go to 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha. Follow me over to chapter 13. All right? So we prove all things by the word of the Most High. No deceit. For precept must be upon precept. Line upon line, here a little and there a little. So we go to verse 39. And it reads, and whereas you saw is that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes. Okay, remember the two families. The 10 tribes is from the northern kingdom, and Judah, the southern kingdom, the two families of Israel, which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king, whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land. Let's continue. That they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's go back up to 41. But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country which never mankind dwelt. So what they did was they went into a further country where mankind never dwelt. All right, now we know that the eastern world, Africa and Europe and Asia, was populated after the flood from Ham, Shem, and Japheth. But the western world, the so-called Americas, all right, the islands, all of which we know today as Australia, Hawaii, the Dominican, Cuba, these places were inhabited. So they went to where a place never mankind dwelt. Now verse 42. That they might keep their statutes which they never kept in their own land. Verse 43, and they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow passage of the river, for the Most High then showed signs for them, and held still the flood, till they were passed over. So the Most High held still the ocean waters as they went over from the eastern world to the western world. Verse 45, for though that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. So to get from the eastern world all the way to the western world, the Americas, was a year and a half. And the same region is called Azareth. So let's see what this word Azareth means, according to the Jewish encyclopedia. The name of the land beyond the great river, far away from the habitation of man, in which the 10 tribes of Israel will dwell, observing the laws of Moses until the time of the restoration. Columbus identified America with this land. Azareth, it means hidden land. And if you do your research, you'll find that Columbus used 2nd Ezra, the Apocrypha, to find the Americas, to find the lost sheep of the house of Israel, to enslave them with false doctrine and also physical slavery. So, but this is the thing. Who shall believe our report? Okay, as Isaiah says in chapter 53, verse 1 and 2. This report has become laughable to many people around the world who are hearing it on the street corners for the first time and social media outlets. However, the Most High has closed the minds of the people, for they have eyes to see and can't see, and ears to hear, but they can't hear the word. All right? Like I said, there's nothing new under the sun. What is the appearance of Yisrael? What was the appearance of Yisrael in ancient days? How about we go over to the book of Revelation? All right, let's go. Follow me over to the book of Revelation, and we're going to go through the Son of Man, whom the world calls the Messiah, Yahshua, Savior. So we're going to go to Revelation chapter 1, verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool. So we know the color of his hair was white, which today we would translate that as a gray-haired old man. He will have gray hair as an old man, like wool. Now we know wool is the texture that the black man has today. Nappy, kinky, woolly hair, as white as snow. All right, and his eyes were as a flame of fire. Verse 15, and his feet like unto fine brass. Now we know your feet is the same color as your face, as your arms, and everywhere else on your body. So his feet was like unto fine brass. Now brass is brown. Brass is brown. Let's go over here. All right, so we see brass. This is the original brass, and this is burnt brass. All right, and we see, now we know this is not the Messiah, so I don't want you to think that, or think that this picture represents him, but it doesn't. But we're just showing you the gray hair, as this old man has gray hair. That's how he will also have gray hair. So let's go back. So burnt brass is brown, dark brown, because regular brass is brown. So it says, and his feet like unto fine brass, as if they burn in a furnace. All right, so dark brown. And his voice as the sound of many waters. Okay, so we understand just from scriptures that the Messiah, Yahshua, is a dark brown, which we will refer to today as the Negro, the black man. Let's continue. Let's go over and get in Daniel's writings. We're going to go to Daniel chapter 10, verse 6. So Daniel sees the exact same vision as John. His body also was like the beryl, which is brown, and his face as the appearance of lightning, and his eyes as the lamps of fire, and his arms, and his feet like in color to polished brass. So that's colored brass, polished brass, and the voice of his words like unto the voice of multitudes. So as we can see it from two witnesses, that the Messiah will be dark brown. Okay, a dark brown man. That would be his description if we were drawing his description today. Okay, but let's continue. Let's go to Songs of Solomon. Another Yisraelim or Israelite from the tribe of Judah. Let's see how he looked, because some just don't believe our report. We're going to continue to go to verse 5 and 6. Now verse 5 says, I am black. Solomon identifies that he's a black man. But calmly. Calmly means beautiful, good-looking, handsome. I am black but calmly, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar. The tents of Kedar, if you do your history, was a dark people, as the curtains of Solomon. Look not upon me, because I am black. So Solomon is telling you that he's black, because the sun have looked upon me. He's saying, listen, I've been in the sun all day. I'm a dark man. Don't stare at me. Okay? We're going to continue to go over to Jeremiah. Back to Jeremiah, chapter 14. So we can get the truth out there. See, once you can identify the truth and accept the truth, then you won't have these issues. But we know everyone is not going to accept it. Jeremiah chapter 14, verse 2. Judah mourneth. So Judah is the children of Israel. Okay, our people, we mourn. We're being afflicted. Okay, we're a cursed people. All right, we don't know our identity. So Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. The gates are the leaders. Our people language. We've been led to the slaughter. We're in prison houses. We're the poor of the earth. All right? They are black unto the ground. Okay, and just as Adam was, when you go outside, it's different shades of brown. The more you dig, the deeper or the darker the color becomes. So it says that Judah mourneth, and the gates language thereof, they are black unto the ground. And the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. All right, stay with me here. We're going to go over the Lamentations chapter 4. So we're going to get the account of the appearance of the Israelites throughout the book, just in this short amount of time. All right, so we need 2 to 3 witnesses, which we have more than that already. So we're going to go to chapter 4, and we're going to go down to verse 7. Her Nazarites, the Nazarenes, were purer than snow. They were whiter than milk. They were more ruddy in body than rubies. Their polishing was of sapphire. Their visage, now visage means face. Their visage is blacker than a coal. So Jeremiah is telling you here that the Nazarene, that the priests, the Kohen, their face was very dark. Okay, just as Solomon, just as the Messiah, Yahshua, in the book of Revelation, and also with Daniel saw. They are not known in the streets. Their skin cleaved to their bones. It is withered. It has become like a stick. Let's stay in Lamentations. We're going to go over to chapter 5. Okay? We're going to go over to chapter 5. So let's see how Yisrael looked. So now we can identify them today. Verse 10. Our skin is flesh, was black like an oven. Okay, so Jeremiah is telling you that our skin was black like an oven because of... All right, so Jeremiah identifies again that his people are the darker skinned people. Let's go over to the book of Job. We're going to go over to the book of Job. Let's go down to verse 30. Now listen, there's countless more other scriptures. We can also go into how Moses was raised as an Egyptian, which we know the ancient Egyptians were darker skinned people, and he was raised as an Egyptian. All right? He couldn't have been a different color because the Israelites were being killed. So he would have been killed if they would have known, if he was a different color. The same thing with Joseph's brothers. When they went down to Egypt, they could not recognize Joseph because Joseph appeared as the other Egyptians, a dark-skinned people. But Joseph recognized his brothers. All right, verse 30. Chapter 30, verse 30 in Job. My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burnt with heat. So Job tells you that he is a black man. All right, so we can go through countless and countless more scriptures. We know that the Messiah and his family, Joseph and Miriam, the messenger had spoke unto Joseph in a dream to take Yahshua down into Egypt to hide. Okay, when you are hiding, you're trying to blend in to be less recognizable. Okay, and the reason they went to Egypt is because in Egypt, the other people around them were dark black people. That's where they went to hide, to blend in. And also in the book of Acts, verse 21, they thought that that Shaul, Paul, was an Egyptian. All right? But we can go on and on and on and on and on. You know, and maybe we'll do another lesson on this. But I want to finish this up by going to the book of Acts. We're going to go to verse 13. Okay? Because a lot of people are stumbling at the stumbling stone, not wanting to give up their authority in the earth, that the truth is being taught. And there's order in the truth. But they don't want to get in line. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to verse 40 and 41 to finish off. Beware, therefore, lest that come upon you, which is spoken of in the prophets. Behold, so pay attention, you despisers, and wonder, and perish, for I work a work in your days. So the Most High is saying, I'm going to do something very special in your days, a work which you shall in no wise believe. It will be unbelievable. It is going to be unbelievable. Though Amen. Declare it unto you. All praises be to the Most High HaYah, Bahashim Yahshua Ruach Qodesh. Shalom to the elect. Keep the Sabbaths, every last one of them. We all know we're in the last days. Tribulation is on the way. But you shall be saved if you endure unto the end. Keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. Shalom.